Awesome date. August 30th, 2010. Awesome topic. A doctor so dark, he's Dracula Black.
Oh, God.
This is the OSMcast. Hey folks, and welcome to the OSMcast, the authority on awesome. I'm Basil.
I'm Eric.
And with us is special guest...
Hey guys, it's Clarissa from Anime World Order.
Yes, finally, the trifecta is complete.
Yeah, we've collected them all. It's terrific.
We're like Pokemon.
Exactly.
But it's really easy because there's only three of you.
Right.
It's actually kind of funny considering that I actually asked you to do this almost a year ago at Anime Week in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
It was right after the Podcasters Roundtable, like, can you please come talk Blackjack on our podcast? And so, it took forever to get Eric into it.
Oh, whatever.
It did.
You didn't even buy it or anything until
I had it like
2 months ago.
December.
Sure, whatever. I'm a much bigger Blackjack fan than you. I don't even want to hear it.
Well, you are now. See, what happens is sometimes me and Eric will butt heads. Mm-hmm. And I'll go, oh man, Eric, this is this really awesome thing. You should see it and enjoy it. And he goes, man, whatever. You're stupid. And then he'll eventually try it. He goes, oh man, Basil, this is the awesomest thing.
This is the best thing ever.
Like,
I wish you had totally told me about this.
Like it happened with Mass Effect.
It's happened with Mass Effect,
yeah.
and it happened with Blackjack. But
because you were telling me, like, Tezuka only does Astro Boy. That's all I can think of, that and Kimba. And I'm like, that's because you haven't read Blackjack yet.
I haven't actually read Astro Boy either, so...
Well, there you go.
I probably shouldn't have admitted that on air, but there you go.
It's okay.
It's too late.
It's too late now, yeah.
I didn't actually watch Akira until like half a year ago.
It's okay. I saw The Lion King, so I've seen plenty of Tezuka's work.
Oh.
Cold.
So, anyways, that's, of course, for people who somehow have started listening to this and don't realize it, there is a website, OSMcast.com. Included is our entire index of awesome. Every podcast we've ever done and ever will be done will be eventually there.
Even the ones we want to forget about.
Well, sometimes we are a bunch of weird dicks, but that's irrelevant to the conversation today. And of course, Clarissa is part of the AWO. You can find that at AnimeWorldOrder.com.
Yes, indeed. And our ridiculously long backlog of posts and episodes, each one of which is also ridiculously long. And, normally I wouldn't think to point people to it, but we have crazy people who actually will, like, discover the podcast now and go back and listen to every single episode. I don't know how they make it through all of that.
Well, you got a bunch of truckers listening to your podcast? That's a lot of
I guess a lot of people with, like, boring night jobs that they have nothing else to do except just listen to stuff.
Oh, yeah, I could see that, loading that up while I'm stalking at Target or something like that.
Right.
There's also other things. For example, whenever I do a road trip to Atlanta, podcasts are a godsend because they keep me awake.
Oh, yeah.
Also, since I work at GameStop, whenever I open or close the store, I'm by myself. Mm-hmm. That's a good way to kill time. I mean, there's exercising. There's plenty of times you can listen to a podcast. You should just expand your horizons.
Expand my horizons.
Yeah, I've tried listening at work sometimes, but it's tough for me because I'll usually find that I'll listen to an episode and then about 10 minutes or so will go by and I realize that I have no idea what they've been talking about because sometimes it's hard for me to keep my attention on what I'm doing and the podcast at the same time.
I have the exact same problem. That's why I only do it when I'm opening or closing, or if I'm like eating lunch or something.
Right.
Because something that I can do that I'm not actually really paying attention to,
yeah,
but only sort of paying attention to. I guess I shouldn't say that I'm doing that while I'm driving, but, you know, it works out.
Exactly. They don't want to admit anything on air that could be later used in a court of law here.
Sure.
So, which Anime World Order episode were you listening to when you plowed into that bus of orphans?
81B.
Yeah.
But speaking of Anime Week in Atlanta, that's coming up soon.
Oh, God,
especially when this recording actually hits the air.
Oh yeah, it'll be real close. Yeah,
it's like 2 weeks after that.
Right.
What panels do y'all have coming up?
Oh my gosh. We actually have a pretty decent number of panels that we have to prepare for in less time than we initially thought. I think we were thinking, oh, we have so much time, and then it's actually gonna sneak up on us much quicker than that. I'm just pulling up the list because we actually have like a decent number of these panels.
That's cool. I only have 2 because I was lazy this year.
Right.
Well, actually, in comparison, considering I've never actually really done panels at AWA, then this actually is way more than I've ever done, but I'll ignore that.
Right. So we've got a few different panels. Daryl's going to be doing his Anime 101 panel, which I assume will be pretty similar to the one he just did at Anime Festival Orlando. Gerald's going to be repeating his History of Hentai panel. We're also doing the Everyone is a Critic on reviews and criticism for anime. Then we'll also be doing the Podcaster Roundtable, which I'm sure you guys are welcome to sit in on if you haven't already planned on doing it. Gerald's going to be reprising his Evolution of Mech Design panel, which, I don't know, Daryl and I worked on that last time too, so it might be all 3 of us. I'm not quite sure. And I'll also be doing a panel on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Ooh. Finally. I've been thinking about doing it for a while. And then I think Daryl's also reprising the Panel of Doom and Craziest Deaths panels. So it's a pretty full schedule for us.
Yeah, I actually just got back from my friend Drew. He's from Akibar Renditions. We actually were planning out 2 of our panels. I know that he's also doing... with his friend Richard, also in Akibar, and Dave Merrill, doing the Anime Mecha D-List, which is the shows that you probably don't actually want to talk about, but they're going to talk about them anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's like every show Kevin ever talks about.
Yeah, maybe. And then he's on some other Anime Con, Why Anime Con panel, which he's still not actually sure what it actually is. He was just thrown on there, and he was like, oh, okay. But the 2 that me and him working together, we're doing 2. One is called the English Jamboree. It's a brand new thing we've been working on, and it's our own variation of the clip show. Because between Anime Hell and Panel of Doom and Craziest Deaths, we couldn't think about anything else we could throw our own spin onto. And then we were watching a bunch of random, really Englishy anime openings and endings. We're like, wait a minute, this would work. So that's what it's going to be like a clip show. But it's going to be focusing on English.
Oh, okay.
And we'll be
There's
showing
plenty of good examples to choose from.
Although there are. We're discovering it more and more. And we're actually going to do mixing in other things besides just openings and endings to sort of space it out. Mm-hmm. Sadly, it's, I think, at 1 o'clock on Friday, so no Beck. But that's okay.
I hope there'll be some Sengoku Basara Date Masamune action.
Oh, I'm sure we'll put our guns on. I'm positive of that. And then we're also me and Drew doing one called the AWA's Wide World of Sports anime. Which is going to be a panel about sports anime. You know, why people don't watch it, why they should watch it. Here's a bunch of examples of awesome sports anime, and then finally, maybe try to figure out ideas how to get people to actually watch the stuff.
You should put me on there for why you shouldn't watch it.
Look, just because you actually know what football is and then watched ISO 21.
We're 2 white guys who have never played any sports before in our entire life. Here to tell you about some shows from people who have never seen any sports before. I used to play soccer when I was growing up. You shut up. If you can't tell, I hate sports anime because I played sports, and so it makes me twitch.
Oh, I see.
When the Japanese start talking about football, it's like, okay, come on, guys. Don't do that. No.
But
see, I'm the opposite. Like, I don't know anything about sports or care, but I only like watch sports anime and read sports manga, so I wouldn't notice like them getting things wrong or being weird.
That's how Basil is. Basil's like, you should check out this iShield 21. It's an awesome anime. And then I see some of the stuff they say about like formations and stuff, and it's like, oh god, the magic of the curl route, wasn't that in there somewhere? Oh, anyway.
Which is funny, because iShield 21 is actually the anime that got me into sports anime in general.
Which you bought for me, originally.
Yes, I downloaded it for you, because I'm like, oh man, this is hilarious. You should watch this. And
there's kind of two categories of sports anime or manga, because there's the more realistic types, and then like the crazy over-the-top ones. And iShield 21 is definitely one of the weird over-the-top ones that isn't trying to at all be accurate. But there's other ones that are, I don't know about for American football, but definitely in other ones there's, shows that try to be a little more realistic. Like Giant Killing is, for soccer, one of the more, like, I don't know, maybe it's not accurate and I just can't tell, but it seems more realistic.
I don't know. Read some of the tweets of Hoover Dam. She keeps going, oh man, I experienced that before. Like, especially like on the fan side. And on the professional side of the actual inner goings on of the actual club.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, I'm thinking Giant Killing is one of the more realistic ones. And it's amazing that it's still so good that Studio Dean couldn't screw it up. I mean, they tried, but, it's still good enough.
Yeah.
Attempts were made.
Like, hey, at least it's not B-Train.
Well, it's true. I mean...
B-Train would have screwed it up.
Well, it's true. I mean, even Gonzo tried screwing up Full Metal Panic, but again, the source material was so good, they failed at screwing it up.
Man, when is KyoAni going to make more Full Metal Panic?
That's a good question. I really wish they would dump this Moe crap and reprise the same episode of Haruhi over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really... I'd be fine. I'd be fine with them making the Moe stuff, but also make more Full Metal Panic.
Exactly.
See, I would take that. I would take that. I mean,
we understand if you got to make your bank, but could you please give us some good stuff?
Right.
I mean, they have to be swimming enough money. Well, they can't be swimming enough money. I mean, they probably still make pennies, but just give me something that's actually good because you're capable of it. So anyways, I guess we'll talk about sad things and more like moment of awesome things.
Exactly.
Normally we have a music cue, but our music cue guy for this one isn't here.
Exactly. So we're all going to have to do an impromptu rap. So
oh, no.
Here we go. No, I'm kidding.
No, we're just going
to... Yeah, we always do everything in post.
Well, what happened is that for this particular segment, James was like, I'll make some music. It hasn't made any music yet.
No, we never did, yeah.
And so usually our buddy Kevin will do his own little musical ditty, but he's not here to do it, so it's like...
And you don't want to hear us sing, so...
At least not that. But we could do a wonderful duet of Jenny Says. We're not going to do a duet of Jenny Says.
Yes, duet of Jenny Says, I'm on this.
So yeah, while I could talk about The Expendables or Scott Pilgrim, I've seen them both. Actually, what I've been really watching lately, it's actually Sci-Fi's Eureka. I actually got into it because they did a crossover episode of Warehouse 13. And Warehouse 13 is decent. It's enough to kill an hour.
Right.
But Eureka is actually really good. When I actually started
I've been
watching
hearing really good things about that, but I confess I haven't started watching it yet. I should catch up on it.
Well, I don't know if it's just me or this perception, but... As of late, it feels like there's less and less good anime per season showing up that I'm actually paying attention to. And so a weird flip side is that I've been watching way more American TV show than I normally do.
Right.
Which actually has me catching up on stuff I haven't actually watched before.
Yeah, I've been watching a pretty decent amount of American television myself, because I had sort of a similar thing where for a long time I was watching a lot of anime and I really wasn't watching American television at all. But there's just been a lot of really good shows lately.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, I guess overall there's less anime being made. And maybe that's why there's fewer shows, or maybe it's just that, since Moe and kind of harem shows are the big thing. But I can definitely see what you mean. I've seen a couple episodes of Warehouse 13, but I couldn't really get too into it. Like, some of the plots were interesting, but the acting's kind of lackluster.
Yeah, Warehouse 13 suffers from the problem of that its main characters, quote-unquote, have no chemistry, are not good actors, and I can't really figure out why they're there. Like, the scientist is awesome, the female scientist is awesome, and the warehouse stuff is awesome. But the quote-unquote main characters are just... the show would be so much better if they just disappeared. And it became Arnie and his hot female assistant go around the world finding awesome artifacts.
But, yeah, Eureka's not a problem because the entire cast is good.
Yeah, Eureka's really awesome. Eureka's a terrific show.
I mean, it's about this...
It's no Leverage, but it's pretty awesome.
Oh, man, Leverage. So good.
Leverage is probably the best TV show going on right now. I mean, I won't doubt that that's totally true. But I didn't choose Leverage. I chose Eureka, which is about a Sheriff Jack Carter who ends up in this town called Eureka, which is where all the great scientists of the world all meet together to do crazy mad scientist crap. And then he has to solve the problems using his good old American know-how. It was actually best so far, in my opinion, the first 2.5 seasons, where they had one of his main rivals, as it were, was this guy named Dr. Nathan Stark, which is pretty much Tony Stark from Iron Man. And then I realized that Jack Carter acts a whole lot like Captain America. And they had that same sort of rivalry between the two.
Oh,
only it's in this. It's only this goofy, mad scientist show. But the way they bicker, it's almost as good as House and Wilson.
Interesting.
So that's one. That's mine. Eric, what do you?
This is gonna be hard because the only thing I've really read or done this week is read Blackjack 4 through 8, and then read Buddha 3 and 4. So we're about to talk about, I mean, not those volumes, but we're about to talk about that for an hour, so I don't really want to do that. I hated The Expendables. Don't go see it. It's trash. That's not really a moment of awesome, but I think everyone should be warned that...
See, I'm glad to disagree with you there.
It's terrible.
It's an 80s action flick.
No, it's... No. I've seen... Look, Rambo.
Have you seen Rambo recently?
Die Hard, yes. In the last 2 years. I have seen good, goofy action movies. There are plenty. Crank. The Transporter. I mean, there are, goofy, fun, over-the-top... Death Race. God, Death Race was a better movie than this. G.I. Joe was a better written and more understandable movie.
What? This movie was completely and utterly understandable.
But it had no, it wasn't. First off, no, it wasn't. And secondly... It had no awesome action.
What?
No. There were no wow. There was one wow moment in the entire film when he broke the guy's neck with his kick. Right. Other than that, explosions and bullets. Who cares?
But they were really good explosions and bullets.
Yeah. Feh. So that's mine. I don't really have anything else except for how much I hated The Expendables.
Philistine.
Go
watch Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, the new Harry Dresden short story is good. There we go.
There we go.
I read it actually the same way you did because you gave me the idea of just going to Barnes & Noble and reading it. And but I'll buy the short story collection when it comes out. So, but I just didn't want to pay for all those other stories I didn't care about. But it's really good. Everybody that likes Harry Dresden should go read it. So there you go.
Harry Dresden's a wizard in Chicago. It's by Jim Butcher.
Oh yeah, we should explain what Harry Dresden is because they might be stupid people who haven't read it.
Or just people who haven't had a chance to.
Come
on now.
That's cool.
But the Dresden Files is the series, and it's probably the best, fiction out there being written right now.
Yeah, best fantasy being currently written.
I hope it's better than the television series.
God, yes.
God, yes.
Okay, because that TV show was pretty terrible.
Now, that TV show is worse than The Expendables.
Yeah, the TV show was worse than The Expendables. Okay. The TV show was... Jim Butcher, who's the author, actually came onto his forums and was like, guys, I'm going to tell you the truth. I needed some money. I have no creative control over this, and I don't really care.
I guess at least he was honest about it.
Yeah, it was it's one of those things. He's really funny, like that. He'll be like, they'll be like, why is this new short story coming out? My deck broke. I needed to buy a new deck.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that authors are probably in sort of a difficult position when they have adaptations of their work come out that aren't that good, but sometimes I hate it when, they're always saying really nice things about, like, some TV show or movie that was really terrible, and I'm like, come on, you don't need to fake it, do you?
Exactly. It's like there's somewhere in your contract where it says you have to say nice things about this, or I guess maybe they get percentages or something like that.
They probably still get royalties somehow.
Yeah.
So they want to make sure they still make that money.
Yeah, because I remember, like even actors and stuff like that do it. I remember right before the Star Wars re-release in the special edition, Carrie Fisher was all bad-mouthing all the stuff that happened on the set and saying it was all horrible. And then they announced the special editions and suddenly Star Wars was the greatest experience of her life and she loved it. Da-da-da-da-da. And a week earlier she had basically been saying that she had been manhandled as a 19-year-old on set. And
right.
So, it's one of those things where, well, I guess your paycheck's tied into that.
So what's been awesome in your life?
I've been a little behind on stuff because I've been busy moving, but let's see. I've been watching a couple of things, catching up on Occult Academy, which is, not the most original show, pretty standard plot, but I think it's entertaining enough, and the main character is hilarious. Actually, a lot of the characters are hilarious. Like, Maya has anger management problems and makes, like, the best faces, and then they have the random mechanic with the giant wrench who punches people a lot, or hits them with a giant wrench. I think the giant wrench must be for the sole purpose of hitting people. I can't really figure out why else he would have one that large.
And there's that guy that looks like he's like the Gilgamesh kid with, like, the spirit divers.
Oh, yeah, like the fat Marilyn Manson kid, yeah. He's also awesome. In fact, there should be, like, a whole spin-off show just about the mechanic and the, fat goth kid.
Yes.
Just
really
going off and having adventures.
Because
they always end up investigating things together.
and what's crazy is that the fat kid's always right.
Yeah.
It takes him forever, but he's always correct. His powers actually do work, and that's the best part.
They're just so slow.
But yeah, Occult Academy actually is one of the few shows I try to pay attention to actually watch it. Mm-hmm. Sadly, the most thing I've really been enjoying that's really new has been the live-action adaptation of Mayashiman.
I watched the first episode, and it's interesting because I've noticed that with every manga or anime series that gets turned into a live-action drama, they always seem to go through the plot at an incredibly accelerated pace.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's just because of the episode counts or what, but, like, they seem to be going really fast, and they've skipped over a decent amount of stuff in it as well. And they seem to also be kind of rearranging things, because it's like Kay is apparently not there yet. Like, he's already taken his leave of absence. And they're already showing him in, like, Goth-Loli mode in the opening credits.
Yeah, those things are weird. Like, I don't get really into much in the live action stuff, but I've noticed, like, like the Sailor Moon stuff was crazy, especially near the end of it.
GTO was really squished. I'm not sure of the timeline there of how much of the manga or whatever was out when the TV show came out, but I do remember the GTO TV show is very condensed compared to the manga series.
We watched a little bit of the Ace One and I live action, and it was the same thing. Like, it went so fast, because I remember we had watched, 12 episodes or so of the anime, because it was being subbed really slowly, and they covered that in, like, 2 episodes or something of the live action series. It was crazy.
Wow.
Now, granted, there's a lot of filler time of Hiromi getting repeatedly hit in the face with tennis balls. So I guess if you just cut that out.
But okay, so lots of awesome, so I guess we'll take a break, and we'll come back with Tezuka's Blackjack.
Music goes here. Music. We should put clips from the House Blackjack commercial here, like just sound clips.
No one would understand.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if they were true fans, they would understand.
Man, I was a little let down by that commercial. I thought they'd make some new animation or something.
Yeah, they repurposed the OAVs.
Yeah.
Have we got a sub version of that yet? I haven't seen one.
I haven't seen one either.
I've seen a translation where someone has gone in and written down what has happened, but I haven't seen anyone actually do it on the video. So.
Yeah, I haven't seen one.
I'd really love to have a subtitled version. Yeah, I was kind of hoping there would be some actual Roger Rabbit interaction between House and Blackjack, but
right. But I haven't really seen subs for a lot of the sort of extra Blackjack stuff. Like, I haven't seen any subs for the other weird Blackjack commercials that have been done. Like, they've used him in advertisements for medical equipment and stuff. I show some of these in my Blackjack panel when I do it at cons, but yeah, they've had medical equipment commercials with him and stuff like that. And I still haven't found subs of those. I really also want to find a subbed version of the I guess there's some TV show that Morning Musume has, or that they were on, and they did a Blackjack sketch where one of the girls was dressed up as Blackjack and one of the girls was dressed up as Pinocchio. I haven't been able to find even the full clip of that, let alone one subbed, and nobody has put up a full version of the Blackjack Takarazuka show.
Oh man, that would be
I wonder
amazing.
if that's even out on DVD. I mean, I think it must be, because I've seen clips. I have a couple clips from it that turned up on YouTube, but
that's pretty much how I've seen all of Takarazuka, the Phoenix Wright stuff. I've only seen a couple, Edgeworth Song I saw on YouTube.
Well, I think the thing is that it's a very small, hardcore fandom over here, and they're sort of protective of it, so it hasn't gotten to that stage where everybody, distributes everything online. And I guess you could argue that that's a good thing, because more money goes back to the Takarazuka, but at the same time, the DVDs are crazy expensive. And so,
I'm sure they are. But now, says Eric, I'm not sure what Takarazuka is.
Yeah, I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, well, the Takarazuka, do you know what kabuki is?
Yeah.
So, kabuki is that Japanese theater, and everybody in it is male. All the actors are men. Well, Takarazuka is the opposite. So, all of the actors are women. And they mostly do musicals. Actually, it's all musicals. And they do a lot of, recognizable Western musicals. So, they'll do, Guys and Dolls and stuff like that. But then they also have their own original shows, and they've done shows based off of manga and anime. They had shows for Rosa Versailles, and then they did one a little bit ago for Phoenix Wright. I think they're actually going to do another one because it was really successful for them. And then they've done Blackjack.
I'd love to see the Blackjack one.
If you remember in Host Club, the anime, there was those females that were they were on their own drama thing.
Ah, indeed. Okay.
That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is actually relevant because one of Tezuka's big influences is that he loved the hell of Takarazuka.
Yes. Well, he was from Takarazuka.
Yeah.
That's where the Tezuka Museum is. I'm hoping that I'm probably going to go to Japan this winter, so I'm hoping to get a chance to go over to Takarazuka and see the Tezuka Museum and maybe see a Takarazuka show. I don't know, if not, I might try and catch a Takarazuka show in Tokyo, because they have another branch there. But I wish that I could have gone while they were doing Phoenix Wright. So I'm not actually sure what shows they're going to be doing this winter, but
that'd be curious. But I guess we should actually get into the topic of hand of Blackjack, who is a doctor.
Yes.
Of the heart?
Well, I mean, he's a doctor of many things.
Of many things.
He's mostly a surgeon. But he's a amazing, oh my god, badass surgeon. A badassery.
Right. I always kind of describe, when I do my panel on Blackjack, I always do it as an introductory thing, since a lot of people don't necessarily know what Blackjack is.
Ugh,
and I always
is sad.
I know. Although I think the manga issues are actually doing fairly well for Vertical. That's what Ed has indicated anyway. So that's good. So it's maybe getting better. But I always kind of describe Blackjack as sort of like a cross between Dr. House and Batman. Like, he's got kind of the, like, super awesome doctor thing going, but he's also more of, like, a man of mystery and action with a dark past.
It's true, and it's really hard to, like, get... Blackjack is such a unique character unto himself that it is hard to describe him to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very... The house thing is what we usually tell people, is, like, he's an action house, is usually what we...
Right.
We do too, and I always go, now this isn't the best description, but it's as good as I can give you that would be relevant to you. Mm-hmm. So, but
and there is a crap ton of it.
Oh yeah. How many volumes are there? I don't even know. I think I'm on 8 or 9 right now, so I don't even know what.
I believe there's 18.
So I'm about halfway through.
And Vertical is putting out all of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're already up to 12 here.
Yes.
I think. Yeah. And
I know 12 was the last one I got, and I don't think another one's come out since then because I got it not long ago.
Yeah. So 12 is what we're up to right now. It's where do we start? I'm sorry. I love so awesome.
Well, I guess we can start off like who is he?
Okay. Yeah. So run down the major characters, I guess.
Well, the most major one would be Blackjack himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, his...
As we just got finished saying, it's Action House. Like,
well, he's got that scar.
He's got the scar on his face, and it's half black and white, and always goes around wearing a white cloak and a black cloak and a looking kind of sinister.
Yeah, it's kind of like an old-fashioned, like, sort of almost Victorian suit with kind of a cape.
Exactly, he's got the old Victorian half cape, like yes. It's like a riding cloak or something. Actually,
it's like his fancy little bow tie that he wears everywhere.
And in Blackjack 21, he wears a hilarious hat as a disguise because no one will recognize him. He wears a hat, I guess.
Oh man, he's the original Clark Kent right there. It's no one knows who I am now.
But he's an amazing doctor. Just crazy
amazing
good.
Surgeon.
Amazing surgeon. Well, I mean, he's able to diagnose things too.
He's a good doctor, but what he's amazing at is the speed and accuracy of his surgery. Like,
but he's not licensed, because screw that licensing crap. That's just the man keeping it down.
Right.
Like, well, it's got more than that, but I don't know how, since we're only talking about 1 through 3, I don't know how deep we want to get into to that. Because there's more reason for him not being licensed, at least I've read more reasons into him not being licensed into something I read in Volume 4, I think, or 5.
We could probably go up to 5.
Okay. Like, because there's one where he's, like, got one of the people who he feels responsible for scarring him, and he's dropped him on an island full of landmines and stuff, and he's going, okay, I got this checklist of these 5 guys that I feel are responsible for scarring me and killing my mother, and I'm going to use my millions to give ironic punishments to all of them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they ever bring that back or something, but I thought that was really cool that there was like an overarching kind of reason for him always wanting millions of dollars.
Right.
Which he does.
There's a few different things to that, because they discuss, like, there's a point in the manga, I believe, where they discuss that he uses a great deal of the money to pay for this island that he owns, which is kind of like a nature preserve.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
So, yeah, there's like a couple different things. I mean, I think that's one of the interesting things about him as a character is there's rarely like one motivation for the things that he does. There's usually like a few different reasons, and I don't know if some of that was like Tezuka, retconning stuff or just kind of throwing whatever out, and how much of it was him like consciously trying to make him a more layered character. But
I don't know what he was trying to do, but the result is I think he is a very layered character.
Yeah.
Like, I love his code. That's one of the things that if we're talking about Blackjack, the character, you he's always got his, like, you know, he's got a weak spot for children. He will do anything for anyone he feels who has helped him out. Mm-hmm. Like, he's going to repay his debt. Like, there's one where a guy drove back and was a witness for him, like, 10 years earlier, and that guy's dying of something in a hospital, and he's like, well, I'll do the surgery because I'll save his life, and the doctors all go, no, we can't do it. So he goes, goes up to the top floor, goes to the director and says, I'll give you $120 million for your hospital. Goes back down to the bottom floor and says, I'm the owner of this hospital now. I'm doing the surgery.
Yeah.
And it's like he will do anything for someone he feels he owes a debt to.
Right.
And
but if he knows that he can get the money out of you, he's going to.
Well, it's adults. Like, in my mind, it seems to me that he helps women and children out, which I guess, you know, was written in the 50s and 60s and stuff, so I guess that's the moral of the time. But, like... sorry. It's
not even just that. I mean, it's more like he's very quick to extort money from, like, rich people or people that he feels are bad people. There's, like, a kind of a moral, like, judgment angle to it. So, I mean, there are a few stories where he eases up on the payments for, I think, men as well, but it's more like if you sort of demonstrate to him that you are a good person who values your life and or the lives of your loved ones, like, he'll often cut them slack on the payment. Like, he'll either, you know, allow them to pay him off gradually, or he'll lower the payment to something, like, simple, you know, just, you know, let me get me dinner, or, you know, do this thing for me.
He's very big on, you know, people who are actually willing to work to make sure they get to live.
Yeah. Well, because that's sort of his big thing, like, part of the justification for his exorbitant fees is that he says that, you know, life is the most important thing in the world. And so if you value your life or the life of the person you love, then you should be willing to do anything, even if it's paying a ridiculous amount of money, even if it's working for the rest of your life to pay it off, because that, you know, life and health should be worth more to you than anything else.
Yeah, like, he's got, it's a real humanistic philosophy, which I guess makes sense. Mm-hmm. And considering it says like his work. And also there's I don't know, for me with the ones though where he's helping out people that are the poor people, he usually does it, like, on the slide a lot of the times. Like, he'll take some money and then suddenly 59 million of it or whatever will appear.
Right.
Like, or he'll write checks back and then leave, you know. Like, he always does something where it doesn't appear like he's being a nice guy. He just does these random things.
Well, I guess he's got to maintain his cover as a jerk.
Exactly. He's got this cover, because I guess he needs it so he can extort the money from the evil people. They've got to believe that he won't help them.
Right.
Without the money, so...
Well, I mean, if he does feel they're, you know, they deserve the fees, he won't help them. Like, if they were to go, like, I want $50 million for this. Well, I'm not going to pay that. Go away. He'll go, okay, I'll go away.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then usually they'll go, oh, God, I'm about to die. Oh, here's $15 million.
And he does make a lot of moral judgment. I mean, it's almost I don't know what order it was actually written in, but it's almost like the second or third story or whatever, where a rich mob boss comes in and is like, save my son, and use this body of this other kid to do it. And And he basically kills the guy's son, and then, you know, he says, sure, I'll take the money for that, and then doesn't help him at all, and because the kid was a jerk and everyone hated him.
Right, helps the other kid instead, yeah.
Yeah. So, and takes the money. He got the money in that one, and saved the good guy in that one. So,
yeah, the stories in the English edition, because the English edition is basically the same as one of the, like, hardcover deluxe editions that came out in Japan. I don't remember if it's the same one as that has all the realistic art on the covers. It might be, but that was kind of like a classics type release, and so the stories are not in order.
Oh yeah, I was actually going to ask about that while we were, after we'd stopped recording. Actually, is why are all the stories out of order?
Yeah, I think it's just because, like, it was that way in that release, and maybe I don't know why they made the decision to do in the order they did in that release. Maybe it was like to link things together thematically, or to have, like, they felt that they flowed interestingly. I mean, for the most part, it's not really a big deal because the stories are fairly standalone. I think there's, like, a couple cases where, like, you know, Pinocchio will, like, disappear for a story in the middle of the volume because it might have been before she showed up.
Yeah, there's the Pinocchio, and a lot of the stuff actually specifically with Pinocchio, where her development, where she's learning more about being a person, and in one volume she won't even know how to use an alarm clock, and in the next story in the same volume she'll be helping him in surgery,
right,
and be a competent nurse, and then there'll be a next story where she's a really bad nurse, and he's teaching her how to do it, so it's kind of...
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that's affected by switching the order around.
But Pinocchio is her own special snowflake as well.
Yeah, and I guess that's the next character we should talk about.
She's a very special snowflake.
Let's see, Pinocchio was I can't remember what kind of cyst originally, where essentially like a second twin was growing inside.
Right, it's like a teratoid cystoma or something like that, or a teratoma for short. Yeah, it's basically like if you've seen the Venture Brothers, they use this plot in the Venture Brothers as well, where like you have twins in the womb, and one of them gets absorbed into the body of the other twin, and usually they just become like a little clump of dead tissue, and there might be like, you know, a tooth or like something else in there, but it's usually just like, it's like a tumor, and so a benign tumor, and so usually they just remove it. But in Blackjack, you know, the medical cases are never quite that normal or simple, because otherwise you wouldn't need to call Blackjack.
It's true.
And so you've got this whole full set of organs and
a personality,
and nervous system grown in there,
right?
And every time somebody tries to remove it, I guess psychically makes them kill themselves or run away or do all sorts of...
Yeah, I don't know if they ever like mention Pinocchio having psychic powers after that. I think it kind of gets dropped. Maybe once she's out of her sister's body, she doesn't
need it as a
not defense mechanism anymore. I don't know.
We'll say normally a human being only uses 10% of their brain, when in the other Bob Pinocchio was using all the other 90%.
Don't bring up the Sorcerer's Apprentice here.
Hey, it's also been like a bunch of other things recently. It's kind of strange. That fact's been brought up a lot, even though it's not a real actual fact.
Right. But, it's always kind of one of the go-to explanations for psychic powers or other strange phenomena.
Yeah.
But basically, Blackjack is trying to cut it out and makes an agreement that's like, I'll keep you alive if you'll let me cut you out because you're killing your sister. And so dumps all the organs and stuff into a big pot of some kind of culture. He calls it something or other culture.
Right.
And then builds a wooden mannequin for it and installs the body in there.
You know, like you do on a Tuesday.
Exactly. You know, this is always so weird. This is the hardest part about explaining Blackjack to people for me.
Right.
Because I'll be going, you know, so people will be like, so who's this little girl? Well, originally she was a tumor. And it's like... And now she's a Pinocchio.
Right.
Because that's what she's named after.
Yeah, she's definitely a difficult character, I think, for people to come to grips with and to explain to people. Like, I know it took me a while to get, like, accustomed to her and to adjust. And at first, like, I really didn't like her at all. Like, it took me a long time to sort of kind of realize what was going on there and sort of appreciate what she adds to the series.
I think it's harder to really relate to her, like, in the anime, because then you really see you really see just how obnoxious she can be.
Oh, you mean like in the TV series?
Yeah, or in the OAVs or what have you, or like in the movie.
Well, the OAVs in the movie are difficult because you really don't get any of her backstory. Yeah. So she's just this random, strange little girl who lives with Blackjack and acts very bizarre and claims to be his wife or whatever. His wife. And it doesn't make any sense if you don't know the story already. So, and that was the first, stuff that I saw of Blackjack. So I was like, what is wrong with this girl? Like, I didn't understand anything that was happening there. And I was like, this is really weird.
I could totally see that. What the hell is going on with this
I didn't understand until actually a few years ago, and I was actually reading the Viz editions of Blackjack also cover the same, a different set of stories.
Yes.
But include the Pinocchio story, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's weird, but okay, it makes sense now.
Oddly, I've always liked her character. I always thought she was a goofy because, she's the, to continue actually your Batman analogy, she's the Robin,
right?
And in that I mean she's the Batman is such a dark, brooding character. And and Robin is the kind of little ray of sunshine that lets you into the character's actual emotions and thought process, and that's what Pinocchio is for Blackjack.
Well, and I think similarly too, Blackjack and Batman, to continue that comparison, are both sort of people who are really isolated. I mean, Blackjack is pretty physically isolated. I mean, he lives on this house on like a cliff, and he doesn't really associate with people very much except for his patients. And then it's, just kind of a professional thing. And there's different stories that talk about how basically isolated he is. And, Bruce Wayne isn't an isolated person in the sense that he doesn't associate with people, but he's still very isolated, and even in the midst of that, just because of, him being a crazy vigilante.
Exactly.
And so, Pinocchio and Robin, or really the entire extended Bat family, like, they also kind of help to humanize these characters who otherwise would just be sort of like these, maybe two-dimensional, like, dark, outcast characters. And it's interesting. I mean, a lot of people hate Robin, too. There's a lot of people that think that Batman would be better if Robin never existed. I am not one of those people, but... So similarly, there are a lot of people who think, and especially with Pinocchio being so much younger than Robin, and so much more, like, openly comedic. There's a lot of people that are just like, no, I just want, action and Blackjack being dark and brooding, and that's really...
those are the people that read Punisher comics. Well,
those are people like Frank Miller, and they're bad people.
Well, exactly. Well, it's one of those things where, honestly, that's actually one of my biggest problems with... And I haven't seen a ton of the Blackjack animated stuff. Mm-hmm. But my biggest problem is the stuff I've seen seems to sacrifice a lot of the comedic elements for the darker, brooding elements a lot of times. And I'm like, but that's, the whole thing to me that makes Blackjack awesome is almost the dichotomy of the two.
Right.
And so if you take out too much of one, all you've got is just another generic brooding hero.
I actually think it's kind of interesting because I think the two different sort of anime properties each one goes too far in one direction or the other. So, like, the original OAVs in the movie from the 90s that Dazaki did are, very Dazaki, like, melodrama, and they're dark. And Pinocchio's in them, but she's not in them very much. And like you said, there's really not a lot of comedy. It's much more, like, serious and dramatic. But the TV series, I feel like they maybe went a little too far in the other direction of making it very family-friendly, because it aired in sort of like a family, like, early evening time slot. And, like, there's a lot of Pinocchio, but they also add in, like, these other weird things, like... So I think it's in one of the early volumes, but you guys have read the story with the dog, right? Where there's, like, the dog who's stealing things from people.
Stealing all the money.
Right,
yeah,
so,
like...
I mean, I don't know if I should spoil the ending of that, but, like, they totally changed that in the anime, and after that episode, they keep that dog. So for the entire rest of the show, they just have an ugly, stupid dog
what?
hanging around that just, like, does weird things. And they also, like, added in a lot more, like, supporting characters. So several of the people who in the manga were, like, a patient for one episode, in the TV anime, like, they stick around. So, like, Shadaku, who is the bald kid with the bandage on his forehead, he's from another Tezuka series, but he was the one who got, like, the part of the needle broke off in his body.
Oh, yeah, and it went through.
Right.
Yeah,
so they did that in the anime, too, but again, like, he sticks around, and he basically becomes, like, Pinocchio's buddy. And then he and Pinocchio, like, hang out a lot and go, like, have crazy hijinks and adventures. And then, like, Shadaku's got, like, his, you know, friend, like, sister figure. And then there's, like, Hige Oyaji, or, like, Mr. Mustachio, plays, like, this, he owns this coffee shop that Blackjack and Pinocchio go to all the time. So they added in, like, a lot more other characters to make Blackjack less, like, isolated. So it becomes a little too much sometimes.
I don't think I've seen this one, and now I don't know if I mean, I'll give it a try.
Yeah,
but
it's the more recent television anime. Like, Blackjack 21, I think, is a better balance, because it's still got a lot of Pinocchio, but it has a lot more of the darker material, because, like, Kiriko is in 21, which he never shows up in the main TV series. Like, I'd still say it's worth watching. The main TV series is a lot more accurate to the manga than the OAVs were, but it's definitely, like, upped the comedy factor a lot.
I really like the, was it the two dark doctors or two black doctors?
The new movie, yeah.
Yeah. Which was pretty much Blackjack versus Kiriko.
Mm-hmm.
Who I guess we should also say who he is, because he's sort of the rival character. He is the
evil doctor who gives up really quickly and kills patients because he got driven kind of crazy. What was it, Korea or Vietnam or something? Like, where did he?
I think originally it was World War II, because of when the manga was first written.
Released. Yeah.
But then they've since kind of, like, vaguely alluded to it being, like, Vietnam or Korea, like, some more recent conflicts as time has moved on, because now he'd be way too old if it was, like, World War II. You know?
Yeah, so he saw these, you know, these soldiers that had, yeah, exactly. They all had horrible wounds, but they couldn't die, and he, you know, goes around killing people. Essentially, he's like the anti-Blackjack.
Right, he's like Dr. Kevorkian.
Like he wants to release them from their pain, not cure them of their pain.
Right. I mean, because his whole philosophy is that sometimes there's just nothing you can do. And this is kind of an interesting thing in Blackjack, because it's a theme that comes up repeatedly in several stories, where even though Blackjack is, like, the best doctor on the face of the earth, and even though we always see him doing all these amazing things and he almost seems magical, there's still a lot of storylines where the whole point is that doctors are still human beings. They're not God, and they're not magicians, and they can't save everybody.
So they can still fail.
Right.
Yeah, they can still fail.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, no matter what you do, even Blackjack can't save people. And Kiriko's sort of philosophy is that, you know, sometimes you can't save people, and it's better than to spare them pain if you can't do anything. But Blackjack's, since he values life so much, like, his idea is that is totally wrong, and that even if in the end you can't do anything, you have to try, and that you are failing as a doctor if you don't try to help them or save them up until the very last minute.
Because that's what doctors do.
Right. And Kiriko also, he gives up really, is the other thing with the character, is that he gives up way sooner than I mean, Blackjack never gives up, but, like, he gives, you know, almost instantaneously. I can think of at least 2 storylines where he kills a guy that Blackjack could have saved.
Right.
At least 2 separate stories, and that's only in the first, you know, 8 volumes or so.
Well, it's because he only goes to people, like, when they're ready to die. He goes, okay, well, I'll take care of you. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what they hire him to do, so... But yeah, I think he does, you know, draw the line maybe a little too soon just because he's seen so many horrible things. I think Blackjack accuses him of not caring about people, but I don't think that that's actually true. I mean, I think that Kiriko does really think that he's helping people.
I mean, there's the one with his father.
Right.
Like, where with his own dad, where and him and Blackjack fight over rescuing his dad, and I think that one is the one that really reveals that Kiriko does care about these people. It's just he feels this is the best way to help them.
Right. That's kind of a rough story.
No, that's a very rough story. And so I don't want to say too much more about it, because that's a, oof. That's one of the better ones I've ever actually read.
And there's some stories where Kiriko actually wins.
Yeah,
there's a go.
I love the one where they have like a bet, like whether Blackjack can save this patient, because like the same woman like hired Kiriko, and then her kids hired Blackjack, and so they kind of have like a running bet about who will win. Like, will Blackjack be able to save her or not? And like Blackjack saves her, and he's I showed you, Kiriko. I saved them after all. And then like she and her kids leave the hospital and get in a car accident and die.
Yeah.
Like right afterward, and Kiriko basically walks right up to Blackjack and is like, "Sucker, ha 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 ha."
Yes,
in your face.
And he's just like, he says something to it. It's something like, you see, they're all, it's all useless in the end. He says something really depressing when he goes up to.
He just laughs in his face, and Blackjack is like, "No."
God damn it!
And there is another thing that really keys you. You're talking about Pinocchio earlier and how she leads into the emotions of Blackjack, and that's the other big thing that does is his absolute hatred of losing a patient.
Right.
Like, which some of you have to talk about when Kiriko's around, because he loses a couple of patients when that character pops out. It's like, oh, somebody's probably gonna die. So, I don't know if anybody, at least in the volumes I've read, any super huge recurring characters.
Well, there is the quote-unquote love interest.
The trap, like, or...
the eventual trap, yes.
The eventual trap,
like, she sort of shows up a couple of times.
Yeah,
but
I don't... Tezuka, I guess it was just, the time period, but that story drives me crazy. I'm like, really, Tezuka?
That was a really weird story. I remember reading that and just be like,
I don't know
what?
if we should explain to people or if we should leave them to discover.
No, let's just leave that character. I think we've let's see, there's her.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's some other reoccurring characters, but mostly it's just like Star System people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Blackjack has a lot of cameos. Sometimes the same person from the Star System will play multiple people in different Blackjack stories. So, like, I think that Higeyaji shows up multiple times as different people. I know Rock.
Rock's all over.
Yeah, Rock is in, like, everywhere. Like, he shows up so many times in Blackjack.
Like, I got real confused, actually, because I was real new to Tezuka stuff when I first started reading Blackjack. Mm-hmm. And this same character was popping up, like, but with a different name and a different personality. Yeah. Well, sort of different personality. He's always the same kind of character, generally. Right. But, and I was going like, what's going on here? Is this a Akira Toriyama situation where you can only draw 3 people, or are we,
But for quick overview, Tezuka has what we call a Star System. It pretty much has a staple of character designs and general personality archetypes.
Right.
He uses throughout his work.
Well, we talked about the fact that he was influenced by the Takarazuka, and so part of the fact that he was influenced by the theater was that he thought about his characters not as characters in a particular story, but he thought about them like actors. So, like, if you get the that Art of Osamu Tezuka book that Helen McCarthy did, they actually have, like, an image of a sheet from a notebook that he had, where he has, like, a list of all of these different Star System characters, and then he has a list of, like, the name of their, like, talent agency, and then, like, what their fee is for performances. And so...
Okay, that's awesome.
And so, like, he thought of it as having, like, a stable of actors, and so how it, like, certain directors, like, let's say, for example, Joss Whedon has certain actors that he likes to work with, so he'll reuse those actors. So you'll see the same person in, like, Buffy, and then in Firefly... and then in Dollhouse. Well, Tezuka would do the same thing. Like, he would reuse the same actors. And so you'll see the same character in the terms of, like, character design and maybe sort of similar personality, like you said, pop up in multiple different works playing a different role.
Yeah, like the 2 that I notice a ton of in Blackjack are Rock and I don't know his name, he's the mayor in, like, Metropolis. He's he's always like a gangster lord and stuff like that. It's a beak nose and a balding head. I can't remember what
like
his name
with
was.
the huge nose and, like, the bird hair.
Yeah, and the bird hair.
Yeah, Duke
like,
Red,
I
think, or something like that.
Yeah, That's it.
Yeah.
Like he's in there like 3 or 4 times, usually as a mobster or a high level guy.
Yeah, I think Hamegg shows up a bunch of times too. Like he's kind of the skeezy guy with like the little like mustache and the greasy looking hair.
Whenever he has the female teacher, like, at least within Blackjack, she appears every time he needs like a teacher. It's that same lady.
Yeah. I don't know if she shows up multiple times, but I know at least once he uses the design for Sapphire from Princess Knight for like female characters. So yeah, there's a ton of them. Like I believe that when he first started doing Blackjack, he sort of intended it to be like a major Star System showcase, but.
Well, it makes a sense, especially because it's very serialized.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there are overarching plots overall.
Right.
That that it is stuff does happen, but a lot of it is very much standalone.
Right.
So I could see him really want to use it to show off his guys,
his characters. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and what I've heard is that it was also kind of an opportunity for him to sort of kickstart his career. Because, like, right before Blackjack was when he was making a lot of those really dark, messed up Gekiga works.
Right.
And, I mean, some of those, like, now we can look back and regard them as classics, maybe, but a lot of them really they weren't very popular at the time. And so I think, like, his career had kind of been on a downward turn because a lot of those just weren't really major successes. So Blackjack was sort of, like, an opportunity to go back and do another like manga for young people,
and it really worked because Blackjack is sort of like the in between.
Yeah, it's like the crossover, it's the cross pollination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
So. I mean, it's much darker than say a lot of the like. I guess
earlier stuff, but it's lighter than way lighter than the Gekiga.
Yeah, definitely.
I have to. Sorry, it's just you have to read that Gekiga stuff like half a volume at a time. It's really, Blackjack. I was staying over at the apartment that Basil shares, and so for a couple of days, and he had all this Blackjack out, and I was just plowing through volumes, and then you get some of this Gekiga stuff, and it's like, well, I read 20 pages. I will go do something happy now, and I will come back and read another 20 pages.
Right.
But okay, so we've run down the characters. I don't think we want to spoil any stories, and it's really hard to go over. There's not like a connecting plot thread to go through the serialized. So
yeah, I mean it's pretty much Blackjack gets a call from somebody who needs his services because they've got some incredibly bizarre medical predicament that sometimes borders on the magical or fantastic. And then Blackjack proceeds to at least try to help them. And sometimes, like, crazy things interfere in the middle of it, like involving, mobsters or terrorists or what have you.
Or invisible patients, or...
what we can do is we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, then each of us will share our, like, favorite Blackjack story from, like, the first few volumes.
Okay, that works.
Because it's so serialized, we can do, like, a story...
Right.
And there's still a whole book of other stories you can talk about.
Oh
they can
my
read them. It's good for their own. So
it's going to be a hard pick, but I will do my best.
Sorry, we're going to take a break. We'll come back with more Blackjack. Welcome back. OSMcast, talking about blackjack. While Eric and Clarissa are still looking for their favorite stories, whether through their collection or in their heads, mine was actually, we mentioned earlier, about the kid who had the needle stuck into him. And blackjack's like, I want to get this. And everyone's like, no, you're crazy. You can't get this. It's a little needle. You can't find it. You'll never be able to. He's like, no, I'm going to do this. And he tries all sorts of crazy techniques in order to find it, and fails. Because you can, once a little needle type thing gets stuck in your body, it's impossible. I know this because recently I had to take my mother to a series of to the orthopedic doctors because she got a bit of an insulin needle stuck in her foot, and so all we could do was keep it keep disinfecting it every week until it healed, because it's never going to come out because you can't find it. They're so small and impossible to see. But blackjack tries, and like everybody else, he in fact fails, and he's like, blackjack angry. And then he gets a call saying, the needle popped right back out. Where it went in. He's like, what? It's like, it must have just cruised on through like the veins and everything and just popped right back out. Human body's crazy.
Yeah.
And blackjack is like, well, that's good. Damn it, I didn't fix him though. It was just one of those things where like, even blackjack is not perfect. He's not invincible. But that doesn't always mean it has an unhappy ending. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was, a neat thing. Because normally when blackjack fails, the person dies.
Right.
But this time, he failed, but they lived anyways, to really have God shove it in his face.
Let's see. Ooh, this is hard. The one I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to call it my favorite, because it's one of those things where it's like, I like blackjack, I can't do that. I can't rank what time of day is it? That's, whatever my favorite's going to be. But the one I'm going to talk about right now is one of my absolute favorites. Is there's a kid whose whole family died of cancer, and he wanted to become a doctor, but he's got cancer too.
Oh yeah.
And he's his mentor basically is, I think it's his mentor knows blackjack and comes in and asks him to take a look and see if there's anything he can do, and blackjack's like, no, this kid's just gonna die. But the kid thinks he wants to cure one person of cancer, as he's desperate for it. And so he goes in, and blackjack just silently comes in and says, I'm going to help you do this operation, and watches him operate on this one patient, his only patient ever. And he dies 10 minutes before the operation's finished, but his heart stops, but he still finishes the operation. And and blackjack's just like, I bet he's bragging about this to his family in heaven right now or wherever. And, and I don't know. Like, it's not a very blackjack story. I guess he's almost a minor character in it. It's mostly about this kid, but it's just, I don't know. It's a real feel-good story, I guess, sort of, in that kind of depressing the kid died in the end way.
Right.
But,
well, he's really good at that sometimes. Like, sometimes even bad things will happen, and you're so like, yeah. Well,
exactly.
That'd be a better place.
Well, it's one of those things where it's the world doesn't always have happy endings, but sometimes it has, I don't know, things can be good even if they're not happy.
Right.
If that makes any sense. And so that's mine.
Yeah, it's kind of tough for me. Like, it's hard for me to pick like one story that I like more than all the others. And there's kind of different types of blackjack stories. Like, there's ones that I like a lot because it showcases blackjack just being ridiculously awesome. But then there's other ones that, sort of are more, like, freak you out or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
We already talked earlier about the introductory story for Kiriko, where the patient that blackjack saves dies in an accident right afterwards, so I won't pick that one. But, I don't know, maybe...
It's a tough decision.
I kind of like... There's that one story, Hospital Jacked, where Blackjack is performing an operation, and there's like these people like come in and like take over the hospital, and they lose like power in the operating room, and Blackjack has to operate on this person in the dark, and he can't see at all. He performs this entire operation completely blind, and of course does it perfectly.
Well, all the other doctors are like going, "Why don't you at least try and everything?" And all he's doing is sitting there staring at the patient the whole time.
Right.
And when the lights go out, they go, "You're going to try to operate?" He's like, "I've been memorizing this person's body for the last 3 hours."
Yeah, that's kind of one of those like Blackjack is a badass stories. Like there's some other good ones of those, like the Dingoes one as well, but.
Oh, yeah, the one where he operates on
himself.
Yeah, I always use that as an example in my panel, where it's like in the middle of the Australian outback, surrounded by hungry dingoes, and he's like operating on himself in this little like, portable medical tent.
We should give this panel at AWA so I can go to it.
She did last year, actually.
She did last year? Well, I wasn't at AWA last year. That's not acceptable.
I don't think they're taking any more panel submissions, but it's not on our list so far. So.
No.
Well, there's always
There's always a next show.
Yeah.
I just remember one more that I liked was the old lady one.
You just like that old lady's faces.
That's the best faces.
Was that the one whose sons wouldn't come to see her, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was basically like paying off her debt.
Wait, are you confusing two different stories, or are you talking about the one where with the 4 sons and she disowned one?
No.
Or are you talking about the one where she kept asking for money and it was because she'd been paying a debt off for like, and then Blackjack's like, "Would you pay a debt off for 30 years to her son and for me to save her?" And he's like, "Yes." And he's walking out, and Pinocchio's going like, "Will he pay?" And he's going like, "Oh yeah, this guy will pay."
Because he realized how important actually his mom's life was to him, and didn't realize what she's been doing for him all those years.
Right.
So it's one of the that's he comes out of reading this story and he's like, "This is the best Blackjack story." And I'm like, "Why? This old woman's faces are awesome."
Oh man, speaking of faces, I also love that story, the face sore.
Yes, that was that's one of the creepy ones.
There was a really good OAV episode based on that story too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I'll have to see that.
Yeah.
That was one of the it turned out to be a crazy. Oh, I don't want to. Never mind.
Yeah,
but
it's hard to talk about it without like spoiling it. But this guy has like a tumor that like has a face, and like it keeps moving, and like every time they try to remove it, it just reappears.
And they're showing like earlier ones, and this kid had a frog on his stomach, and all sorts of.
Yeah.
And he's we took it off, but he hopped around and ate bugs for a year afterwards, and it was like, whoa, what? There's a couple of like, I like that with Blackjack, where it's not. I don't want to say science fiction, but I don't want to say fantasy.
Right.
It's like a just.
Well, somehow we with this whole thing didn't mention that Tezuka's actually a doctor.
Oh yes.
Right.
That's true. That's probably an important fact to mention on a Blackjack.
Podcast I think stuff like Blackjack was kind of, he wasn't a practicing doctor once he decided to become a manga artist. So I think it was kind of like living out his dreams from being a doctor through that. And like Blackjack is probably like, the quintessential doctor that Tezuka like wishes he could be.
And it's probably also a lot of the stories reflect how. Stuffy and how bad the bureaucracy of being a doctor in Japan were.
Right.
And so I'm sure some of that is from real life experiences at medical school and dealing with
definitely
professors.
But yeah, there's this really weird mix of like very accurate information, since Tezuka was a doctor and like he knows the human anatomy very well and all of that, and then like just this crazy stuff, because like I said, if you had a normal medical problem, you wouldn't need to go see Blackjack. So it's sort of like every single episode of House, the patient has like some incredibly bizarre medical condition that, because otherwise they wouldn't need like that, famous a diagnostician. Similarly, you wouldn't need Blackjack if you had a normal medical problem. So it's always really bizarre things. Although sometimes you get the really weird ones, like, in one of these first few volumes, they have one of those where Blackjack has to operate on the supercomputer.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
It's like the supercomputer that runs a hospital, and Blackjack has to cure the supercomputer.
Yeah, it's like and they're all like, "You're not an engineer," and he's just like, "I'm his doctor, damn it." I'm going to take care of this. Or I think I mentioned earlier the two kids that bring their mother in, and there's nothing there. And they're like, "We need you to operate on our mother," and he's like, "What?" And they're like, "We need you to operate on our mother. Here's 30 million yen. Operating on an invisible person? Well, the price is right."
Right.
Like,
I haven't seen if it's in the manga, or if it's in one of the volumes that's come out yet, but I know they had it in the TV series, and all of those episodes are based on manga stories, but there's one where, like, Blackjack operates on an alien.
Oh, I haven't read that one. That's not anything I've read.
And somehow, of course, Blackjack is able to figure out alien physiology.
Oh, the man built a girl out of a cyst in a wooden Pinocchio. I think the man could handle it.
Yeah, that's true.
But did he ever deal with lupus?
Yeah, did he ever deal with lupus? That's the big thing. Does anyone in Blackjack ever have lupus?
But it's never lupus, so it's probably not.
It's never lupus. It was lupus in. There's actually like a season 4 episode
of House where
where he's like finally at the end of the episode. It's like, well, we finally done it. It was lupus.
And never bring it up ever again.
Yeah, then they never bring lupus up again.
I wonder if I missed that episode because I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, there is one single because they spent what could it be, and finally it is lupus.
And I think you always go.
I guess they had to get around to it at some point.
Yeah, I think it was them literally addressing the running gag in their own show.
Yeah.
So,
but Blackjack is good stuff.
Blackjack is awesome. Everyone should read it.
Yes.
I gotta tell you guys, I am about peripheral anime manga fan as you get. I mean, I watch anime and read manga, but I am not a super hardcore. And the moment I picked it, oh my god, it was just. I started picking up all sorts of other Tezuka stuff. At this point, I've read Mew and Buddha and just all sorts of crazy stuff. And it's like a gateway drug. You guys all got to get into Blackjack.
Blackjack is definitely my favorite Tezuka work that I've read so far.
If you like Bones or House or any of those kind of shows, pick up Blackjack. You will like Blackjack.
Yes, definitely.
Normally at this point is when we give our actual real important ratings. How many awesomes out of awesome can something be? And so now it's
usually when we make up some stupid pun. So I'm going to go with a one little wooden girl out of awesome. So we'll go with that.
I'm going to give it 5 scalpels.
5 scalpels that were made by a swordsmith. Oh, we forgot to mention that the swordsmith scalpels. Guys, there's so much awesome in here. There's no way we could cover it all.
There's so many things. So many things.
Yeah, this is like, so just know that there are scalpels forged by one of the greatest swordsmiths of all Japan in this.
Right.
And acupuncture needles. But, there's
that's another guy.
There's another guy we didn't mention. Anyway, no, whatever. But, so, you went, okay.
Let's see. I think I will give it... Ooh, that's a good one.
Gotta get its hard decision.
Yeah, Basil took the good one.
I know.
Planned ahead.
About 120 stitches out of... No.
Let's say I will give it... 5 pearls given to you in payment for surgery by a killer whale.
Yes! Oh, the pet killer whale! Oh, we couldn't.
Blackjack the Whale Whisperer is such a good story.
That's. I should have put that as my favorite. Or the killer deer. There's a lot of killer animals.
Yeah, the deer with the brain transplant.
The deer with the brain transplant. Yes. Guys, there's a deer with a much bigger brain than a human.
Yes.
You should just know that.
And of course, it ends up being evil.
Evil!
That's true.
Because it's in every Tezuka work I've read, anytime someone tries to go against nature, it's evil.
Right.
So, and with that, we are...
Well, first, I want to say
sorry.
Thank you, Clarissa, for joining us.
No problem. I am always happy to talk about how awesome Blackjack is.
We hope you had a good time.
I did indeed.
And Now,
now with that, we are out.